At one point in March, we were living under a liberal democracy, and the next we were living under something rather more authoritarian. And so it's no surprise that in this authoritarian climate, even though officially the restrictions were about people's movements and their mixing, there was also a near total conformity of opinion when it came to the lockdown policy. It wasn't just the people who were physically breaking the lockdown by sitting on park benches or relaxing on beaches who were denounced as murderous COVIDiots by much of the press and the media and many of the people who think of themselves as, the great enlightened people. Many of us were accused of wanting people to die, willing the deaths of the elderly for saying such controversial things as, hang on a second, have we thought about this? Is this proportionate? What might the downsides be? These very simple questions had to be suppressed, and the people asking them were shamed. Many who voiced these concerns online, especially online, including health experts, were silenced, censored, shadow banned. Even the meaning of truth was redefined to mean what the authorities say it means. So we had a situation earlier this year where randomized control trials, the gold standard of medical evidence, were discarded by fact checkers as disinformation because they called into question the utility of some of the health guidance. And we really shouldn't underestimate the importance of dissenting against the measures. The damage they're doing is completely unprecedented. A lot of people might say it's selfish to worry about the economy, for instance, but there is a direct and clear correlation between economic output and health. In the developed world, the lockdown has obliterated whatever savings the poorest in society were able to gather. In the developing world, over 150 million have been pushed into extreme poverty. Healthcare in the rich world, which has been disrupted, not necessarily because it's been overwhelmed by coronavirus, but because of fears that it might one day be overwhelmed by the virus, have led to incredible and vast non-COVID health harms. And in the developing world, it's laid waste to programs against malaria and tuberculosis. Tuberculosis kills roughly the same amount of people as have already been killed by coronavirus this year. So if we're going to dissent against anything, surely it has to be this suite of measures that, as far as I can see, and as far as looking across the world, given the many countries that have implemented different forms of it, is not really doing very much good, but is doing some very, very clear harm. A lot of people might say that, now is the time to rally together, to get behind the government, get behind the nation. And, there are some ways in which that's true. Many people were inspired, I think, by the number of people willing to volunteer their time to help out with the NHS. But at the same time, an emergency is also a very important time to criticize, to question. If we don't have democracy, if we don't have dissent in the bad times, then what use are they in the good times? So my message here is to carry on dissenting, carry on questioning, carry on probing, and don't ever assume that the government has got it right.